Okay, I'd like to call to order the Finance Committee meeting of the Municipal Water Finance Authority and ask for a roll call.
Melanie Hartzell.
Alan Andrews for Melanie Hartzell.
Jason Segos.
Robbie Eldman for Commissioner Sagos.
Max von Holler.
Here.
Jacques Sheehan.
Jacqueline Gold for Commissioner Jiha.
Vincent Sapienza Jr.
Joseph Muir for Commissioner Sapienza.
Mark Shaw.
Yes.
We have a quorum.
Okay, the first item of business is the minutes of the meeting on March 25th. Need a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Great. Minutes have been circulated. Any changes or comments? Any opposition to the proposed resolution? Not hearing any, it's adopted. Number two, we have number 2, 3, and 4, I guess. We have 3 financings that we're undertaking. The first resolution, which we need a motion and a second for, is with regard to the issuance of second resolution water and sewer bonds. Well, we'll explain in a second. So motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. The proposed resolution would approve the supplemental resolution number 145. And Olga will explain what we're doing.
So this resolution would authorize the issuance of up to $550 million of second resolution bonds. We'll be issuing these bonds to refund certain outstanding bonds for savings. And I think when we met with you back in March, we talked about how good the current market is and how we're locking in just great savings. And I'm pleased to say that the market has gotten even better. So we estimating that we can get approximately $145 million of present value savings, or 26% of refunded par. So I hope the market stays the same or improves, because we will be bringing this transaction to the market at the end of June. Pricing is scheduled for June 24th and 25th, if I remember correctly, and we'll be closing it on July 2nd. So this transaction will be senior managed for us by Raymond James, and we actually have representatives of Raymond James banking team with us today, Kemp Lewis and Stephanie Lam. They will be leading our syndicate and the other core senior managers on the transaction, Barclays Capital and Seabird Sisner Shank. Are there any questions about this transaction?
Have you done the not to exceed and so forth?
Not to exceed par I did, but not to exceed TIC, true interest cost is 4.5%. That is, it has some cushion in it. We expect TIC at around 3.2% approximately. And the schedule I went over already.
The headlines in the market today are that the Treasury bond rates are down even further and inverting even further. And of course, we're not inverted in the municipal market yet, but we won't worry about that yet and what that means in terms of recession. So any other questions for Olga? Any opposition to the proposed resolution? Not hearing any, it's adopted. So part 2 of our 3-part financing. Supplemental resolution 146. The last one was 145. Motion and a second so we can discuss.
So moved.
Second.
Olga?
So this transaction will be also second resolution water and sewer bonds. Not to exceed par amount is $500 million, but these bonds will be new money bonds, so to finance water and sewer projects for the system. The expected par is approximately $450 million, so we have about $50 million cushion in authorization, as we normally do. The not to exceed TIC is 5%. It's a little higher because our new money bonds are typically structured as a loan bullet. So it's a longer bond that we'll be selling, so it's a more expensive bond than the shorter refunding bonds we talked about earlier. We expect to price this transaction on July 10. That's on an institutional basis. It will be preceded by 1 day of retail, again, as is typical for us. This transaction will be senior managed by Barclays Capital, with Raymond James and Seabird serving as co-senior managers, and also with a full syndicate supporting the sale. The closing is projected for, scheduled for July 17th. Any questions or comments?
Any objections to the resolution? Not hearing any, it's passed. We don't want to leave out EFC, and so the third part of the financing is a resolution to approve the issuance of some bond anticipation notes to the EFC. Motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Great. Olga?
This resolution will authorize issuance of up to $472.5 million of bond anticipation notes to EFC. These notes provide interim new money financing for the system, which means that we expect to, at some point in fiscal 2020, issue long-term bonds to redeem the notes. It's a very cost-effective and flexible tool for us. We get below the market price on the bonds, just as we do on the bonds when we issue through EFC. I don't have actually a schedule for you yet because we're still working with EFC on documentation to support the notes issuance, but we expect that we will be able to close and start drawing on bonds sometime at the end of June or early July.
Questions, concerns? Any objections to the resolution? Not hearing any, it's passed. If there's no further business, could I get a motion and a second to adjourn?
So moved.
Objections? We're adjourned.